Okay, so today we're going to be looking at three-dimensional solids. With your knowledge of polygons and circles, you're able to create and explore new interesting shapes that make elaborate designs, such as the one shown in a stained glass window. Yeah, I'm not going to show that picture. But physical objects cannot exist entirely on a flat surface, such as a tabletop, so they are in three dimensions. So to understand the shapes, you will need to learn more about these three-dimensional shapes, and they're called solids. So just a little annotation here. Three-dimensional shapes are called solids, and they can be created, described, and measured. So as you work, be careful to explain how you see each solid. So you're going to have to actually start looking at three dimensions in two dimensions. So it's going to take some time, and it takes practice to understand how each one is built. So first we're going to look at this prism here, and you're going to be using the CPME tool to work and build the given three-dimensional or 3D solid, which is this pile of blocks. So just keep in mind that if a block is on the second level, it has a block below it to prop it up, because blocks are not going to be floating in air. So if we look at these stacks here, we can see that there are two here. There are three on this middle one. There are two high. This one is one high. This is one high. This is one high. There's one high in the back, and then we got this little doodad in the back here, which appears to be too high as well. So that's what it looks like from the front. And from the right, it's going to have a slightly different view, but our job right now is to build it. So if we go here, and so we have to remember what that looked like. So let's just go back to it. So we had 2, then 3, then 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. So let's just try to give that a shot and try to build that. So for the front, you just kind of pile them up. Oops, too high. So you can restack them, and then 1 and 1. I'm guessing, does that look like it does from the front? Or the isometric, let's look at that one. So let's compare. So we have 1, 1, and then we have, oh yeah, we got 0 down here. 0. So that's kind of twisted from the front and the right. But anyway, the main idea is to build it, and hopefully we got the same sort of thing. So if I look at this, we've got 2 here, we've got 3, then 2, then 1, then 2, then 1, 1, and 1. So it does appear to be the same pile. So now that's how you build it, and that's using the 3D blocks. Feel free, you can pause the video right now, but to work yourself through that and get accustomed to using this, because you're going to be using it a few times. Okay, so now I've taken the picture from the 3D block builder and put it here, and now we're going to compare to make sure we've got 2, we've got 3, then we have 2, then we have 1, 2, 1, 1, and 1. So what I just wrote down, that's going to end up actually being the top side. So if we look at it from the top, with the front here, and then we have the right side here, we're going to end up with a 3 by 3. And so we're going to end up with 2 here, 3 here, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, and 1, and 0. And so this is kind of where we're at for today's lesson, is just kind of figuring out how does this thing look, take it apart, rebuild it, take it apart, rebuild it, until we know exactly what this shape has in it and entails. So that is our shape right there. So 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 0. So this is our shape. And so just to let you know, this is, again, I've inserted the picture of what we have. And so we have 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, and 1. Okay, so we verified that this mat here, the mat, oh, they wrote it for us. So we have the mat here actually matches up with our build. Okay, so the big thing here is that it's going to ask you is what's the actual volume of this? And so as you can see, if each block represents a cubic unit, how many blocks or cubic unit does it take? Well, the answer is right in front of you. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So the volume of this is equal to 13 units to the power of 3. And so that's why it's called cubic units, because we have length, width, and height. If you take 1, it's got a height, it's got a depth, and it's also got a width or length times width times height, however you want to call it, LWH. Length times width times height is probably what we've seen before, and that's what equals volume. So we've been talking about the volume of the shape, and I kind of got ahead and alluded to the different views you can have and how you can look at it. There's the front view, the top view, the right view, and then there's also the isometric view that you can all get from toying around with that 3D builder. So as we're looking at this, now we have another one, and so we're going to now attempt to build this one with our E-tool. And to start, it's oftentimes good to come up with a plan, and the plan is going to be our mat. And then you can go and build. So the first column we have 2, then we have 1, then we have 2, this one is 3, this one is 1, and apparently we've got 0, 0, 0, and 0. So let's just see if we actually can, if this is what matches it. It may or may not. 0, 0, 0, 0. Now if you take out these zeros, it's just nothing there. So it's good to put in a 0. So let's now, so we've taken this and we've gone and done our mat, and now over here we're going to try and see what our build looks like. So let's go back to the E-tool, and here it is. So this is what the build would be. So again, we have the front view, if you click front. You have the right view, if you click right. You have the top view, which you click top, and then you have the isometric view. And so as you can see, if we were to match up with this, we have 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, and the rest are zeros. But if you're going to look at it from the top, you really can't tell much about that, except for these are all zeros. And then if we look at it from the front, we know that 1's 2 high, 3 high, and 1 high. From the right, you know that there's a 3, a 1, and a 2. But this isometric or 3D view is pretty golden. And we can very easily see that it's 0, 0, 0, 0 in the front. And then we got 2, 1, 2, 3, and 1, which is what matches up here. So we're now going to insert this into it. And again, get used to working and moving around with this thing, because it can help you later on in some of the problems you're going to be assigned. So here we are back with our original picture, and then we've got our mat, and then we checked the build out with this and looked at it, and we have 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. So again, the next question would logically be from this is what would be the volume of it? So you just take that. The volume of it is just the total of the number of little cubes. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 would be 9 units cubed if it were to be asked. So now what you're going to be tasked with is to take these mats, build it, and then determine the volume for each in cubic units, which you would write as units to the power of 3. So go ahead and give that a shot. You can pause the video here, but obviously you just fast forward it and you're going to end up seeing what the answers are. But do give it a shot to build it, because I'm not going to do that for you. But you can calculate the volume based upon the number of cubes that you see. But do go through and give it a shot at building it. But so anyway, the volume of this one is going to be 2, well, let's see, we got 6, 10, 11. So that'd be 11 units cubed is the volume for this one, for A. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then we got 12. The volume here would be 12 units cubed. And then for C, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 3 would be, volume here would be 11 units cubed. So now I'm going to sit and we're going to actually give this thing a shot at building the first one. So we have none in this little box here. Then it says 2. And then we've got none in this back box. That's blinking. And then we've got 3 here. And then we've got 3 here. And then we've got 2 here. Then we've got 0, 1. And then, so let's just see, you can actually spin this thing around and you can actually see it a little bit. If you start toying with this really good, then you snap it back where it's supposed to be. So if we can actually spin this thing down, you can actually see that we've got our 2, our 1, our 3, and our 3. And that does match up with over here. So, but the interesting part is you can't see some of these blocks. So luckily, they gave us one that when they have that 0, it's not going to be too bad. So anyway, let's give that another shot with the next one. So let's get rid of these blocks. Whoops. So took this, put it into the presentation for you guys. That's now in the notes. So you click on the side to get rid of these. Hopefully you guys are practicing this. And then this next one here, let me just get rid of some of this stuff. We've got 3 on the front. Then we've got 3 here in the middle. And then we've got 2 in the back. 1 on the front right, I guess it would be called. Then we've got 2 here in the front, and then we've got 1 here. So that's just kind of how that looks. Kind of trippy. So anyway, let's get it back to isometric. So that's what the build would be for that one. So that one is now inserted, and let's get rid of our blocks here, and you can go ahead and get rid of blocks yourself, or you can probably refresh it. It might be quicker, but this is kind of soothing. So then we've got 0 on the front, and then we've got 2, 1 in the back, 1 in the back, 1 in the middle, 1, then we've got 2, and we've got 1, 2, 3. So that's what that looks like from the top. Pretty much matches up there if we twist this a little bit, but we go front, right, top, isometric. Isometric is another word for 3D. So that's how this one would, that's what this build would match up with. Okay, so now we are back, and once again it wasn't there, now it is there. All right, so we've got our builds and we got our volumes and everything kind of checks out. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's get rid of these. That's just confusing me. Okay, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there we go. So Matte, volume, build. So once again, the different layers that we're working on and trying to understand these is we have at the top we have our matte, and then in here we have our volume, and then down here we have our builds. And so that's just kind of what you work with when you're designing. So here we have Megan building a shape with blocks, and she drew these views. So your job now is to build this based upon the differing views that you have. So when you look at the front, you look at the right, you're going to be clicking and getting rid of blocks to make sure it matches, which is always kind of a trial and tribulation. And then ultimately, you're going to have to figure out what the volume of Megan's shape is. So good luck with that one. So here we are with the Megan shape. And so this, first we're going to start with the front view. So let's get rid of the right view and the top view. So let's just look straight at the front. Okay, I can't see anything. So let's see, can we add blocks with the front view? No, you can only add blocks with the isometric. So it looks like we got two somewhere in this back row. So I'll just put them here. Or we could put them in the front. But all we can see is two. That's all we know. And then there's a 1, and then apparently there's a 3. So that may or may not be the shape, but if we look at the front, it matches. So let's go back to isometric. So we've taken care of the front view. Now let's look at the right view. So now we got to kind of correct this to be the right view. So apparently the 3 needs to go over 1, and then somehow we got to have a 2 and a 1. So if we look at our isometric, we can take I don't know, can we move these to here? No, so let's move the 3 back to here. Let's move the 1 to the front, and the 2 goes all the way to the back. So now let's look and see. I think that might be right. So let's look at the right view and see if that matches. No, it doesn't. We need one more here. So let's see if that matches. Now we got our right view. Let's look at the front view again. Boom. So now let's try to make sure that the top view actually matches. And apparently we got some hidden blocks somewhere. So that's always kind of a crazy deal, but we do not have this. So again, our front view matches. Our right view matches. Front, check. Right view, check. So if we can't see it, so what do you do with that top view? That's something to think about. So if we remember, the only thing we can't do is change the way it looks. So there could be a couple options here. If we add one here, and then we add one here, and then we add one here, we could probably add, since this is 3, remember what we got, this is 3, okay, and then this is 2 or 1. Now I've forgotten. So let's go back. Give this another shot. So let's look at our top view. Let's look at our right view. Our right view hasn't changed, and our front view hasn't changed. So let's go back to the top. So once again, we had 2, 1, and 3. So this was 2, this was 1, and then we had 3. So 2, 1, and 3. So somewhere in here we got our 2, our 1, and our 3. And our front view tells us that the 2 is going to have to be in the front. So we've got 2 here, 1, and 3. And then we've got 2, 1, and 3. So somewhere in here we got our 2, 1, and our 3. So so we could end up with, you could have 1 here, and like it could be any number of them. And who knows how many we could have. But you have to go back and look at the view. Now our view has changed because this one should not be there. And this one cannot be there either because it changed the front view. So then let's go to the right view and let's just see. So now we have to have, so our right view needs to have 1, so that can't be there. Then we've got to have 3, and this can't be here. And then our top view matches up. So what do we really have? We got that craziness, which is just kind of looking like this. It's got a hole in the middle. And there's 1. So it looks apparently like we've got 1, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2. And the reason that is because when you compare all the views have to match up with what you're given. So this ends up being our shape. So that was complicated, but again, that's the trials and tribulations, troubles you might want to say it, of dealing with 3 dimensions when you're using 2 dimensions to get it. All of these are 2 dimensions. And this one here is 3D. And sometimes it's difficult to see, but you got to understand that sometimes what you don't see isn't there. And sometimes what you do see might actually look different depending upon your point of view. So after that whole thing, we should have gone back and remembered what the volume was. So let's go back and look at this again. So if we take this and we move this a little bit, we can actually see what the volume is. So we've got 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 3, and 2. So if we go back to our top view, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. Let's try to remember that. So this was our top view. We've got 0 here, and then we had 2 and 2, none here. We have 1 and 1 in the front, and then we've got 3, and then we have 2, and let's go back and see how many we actually have there, which was 1. And it had to be 1 because looking at it from the front, you have to shoot straight through here, and you can't have anything blocking it, which is why that was 1. So, yeah, that's kind of a pain. But anyway, so we've got the volume here is 1, 2. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the volume of this should match up to be 12 units cubed. So let's just make sure that we've got that. So this was 1. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the volume of Megan's shape is equal to 12 units cubed. Because it has 12 cubes that literally make up the shape. Yeah, literally. So that's pretty much working with this. Take some time, build some shapes, come up with your own stuff, but please do not forget about the review and preview. I'll just let you know. They will show up on quizzes and your practice problem sets. So that's it. So if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Remind. I'm available. My office hours are going to be 8 to 3. So I'm available then if you have questions. You can also type in a question into the box for comments in Google Class. But, so anyway, give it a shot. Everything's going to be posted. Take care. Stay healthy. Stay informed.